What's happening, everybody? This is Steel with some more thisandbull.com news. And today we got an exclusive, man. We have the one, the only, the man with the most hooks in the game. I'm talking about this man has done hooks for everybody. Coco, I was thinking, man, if we did a rundown of all the hooks you've done, dog, it would probably take a day.
Probably a couple days.
Probably like a week, dog, because you've worked with pretty much everybody who's like you've done some it's pretty much almost like you get you on a hook for a song, dog. It's a rap.
Yeah, it didn't earn its own stripes. So I'm humbled. Happy to still be relevant and still making records. To put food on the table.
For sure, man. Because at one time it seemed like every song Snoop dropped, you was on there.
Right, right. Well, he knew who to come to when it comes to that. It was the late great Nate Dogg. Then it was Kokane that he would come to, and do a lot of hooks.
Yeah, it was, man. I'm talking about real prolific stuff, man. I still remember, me and Glasses was bumping the joint you and him had from the Wash soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And they
Yeah.
just came out yesterday, man. I'd rather be riding and walking.
Right.
And
Right.
I've been in the studio with you before, man. I've been in the studio a couple of times with you. How do you come up with that stuff so fast, man? It's almost like you just guided by God, almost like you come in, you get the mumbling, you write your stuff
Uh-huh.
down, and you in the booth, you in the booth, then you doing your overdubs and stuff, then it's laced and it sounds something real powerful. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's real simple. The track always write the beat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Instruments, you know, um, the track, it just fits the right, melodies and harmonies on there. So whenever I go into a studio session, that's my Jiffy popcorn secret is to let the beat talk to me.
Y'all hear that out there? Coco said he lets the beats talk to him, but I'm telling you, Coco, it's a lot of people that probably utilize that theory and they stuff don't come out like yours do.
Well, after you've been building rocket parts for over 30 plus years, it's kind of easy to be on the countdown. So it's just I don't care if you're a jazz player, if you're a basketball player, football player, practice make near perfection. And I have perfected this, being able to stay in my own lane and not bumper to bumper traffic. And it's a uniqueness, and I feel every artist that are coming to the game, you got to find your own uniqueness about
Mhm.
yourself. What's
Most
different
definitely.
from you? You know what I mean? And that's what I pride myself on. And I can contribute a lot of that to my musical background from my father Jerry Long and the late great Willie Hutch and so forth. So
Mhm.
we kind of got it honestly between me and my cousin Cole 187. We got it honestly, you know what I mean? And the same thing with the rapping and singing, what I did in the early '80s is the exact same two step what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and for you, salute to you for your staying power and longevity. To be blessed with longevity in this game is definitely a big thing because we see so many kids come in, and 2 years later they gone. You don't hear from them no more.
Right.
What do you attribute to your longevity?
I think before the money, before the hustle, it has to be a passion and love for the music and what you're doing. And before I even thought about the prosperity part and the business part, I always had love and have fun doing what I'm doing. And I think a lot of artists have a misconception breaking into the industry, because they only looking at it from a surface point of view. You know what I mean? But it's much more under the water that you have to accomplish to have that longevity. And first and foremost, I've always fell in love with the music. I
Mhm.
believe your creativity can write your own blank check. You know what I mean? As long as you stay focused, concentrate on what you're doing, things will manifest according to action and to your dream. So, you know, um, I just stay in that lane, man. Like it's real simple. I have a regimen I follow every single day,
Mhm.
mind, body, and spirit, to be able to be in the studio and create it's just, it's an awesome feeling. You know what I mean? So before all that stuff comes, with it, first and foremost, I had to have love because there were challenges that presented itself over the years of my career that I had to overcome. And you got to be able to find something that's going to ground your wire so life don't shock your ass, challenges don't shock your ass. And, the benefit of having a family allowed me to really concentrate and hustle with a motive, hustle with a purpose. But most importantly, I fell in love with music a long time ago. So I think that's my, naming all those bullet points. That's my stick to itness,
Mm-hmm.
if that's a word.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm here today.
Yes, sir. One thing I always hear you frequently mention is two things. You always mention God and family. We've been in this industry a long time, man. There's a lot of wicked stuff that goes on, man. How important is it for you to remain spiritually grounded, man, in the midst of all the chaos and all the demonic stuff that's going on?
Well, it's a yin and yang in everything we do. You know, I trip off the fact, whether you believe or not, but I'm a believer that how God made Satan a beautiful angel, which name was Lucifer.
Hmm.
So using that slight analogy, it's a balance between good and evil. One coexists because the other coexists. You know what I mean? And how would you know what good is if you never experienced the bad?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
what God loves to do, He likes to take on subjects, us as human beings. He likes to take that on and really turn things around for those that went through the harshest of problems, harsh experiences in life. Because he tells us in nature, man, I can only make you a diamond through this pressure. And, as a musician, as a father, as a businessman, I can contribute everything to God, number one, and second, family, business, third, and music. So he makes everything in the right pecking order.
Hmm.
And that's what he did for me to be able to, encourage, inspire, because that's all we're here for, inspiration for elevation for other people that, went through similar things we went through in life.
Hmm.
And I'm here to tell you, man, God is real. Uh, what's dear to God's own heart is a family. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
he's real shrewd on family, and he gave me an awesome family that allowed me to open my eyes and realize that hey, life is much more precious than picking up a microphone. You know what I'm saying? Or having a business. You know, he let me experience the joy of being a father and a husband just as well as being, having a career and setting my
Hmm.
kids up to have their careers. So
Exactly.
I'm always adamant on God and family. This is not a publicity stunt for me. This is something that we do every single day. We say our prayers, break bread with the Lord, and keep it moving.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Now we gonna go into the new stuff that you got going on, which is some incredible stuff. But I want to go back because I remember I was talking to my guy, brother DJ Bobcat, and he told me, he said, "Man, I remember I tried to sign Cocaine before Eric did, before everybody else." He said, "I saw him in Pomona at some
Hmm.
fair, and you was up there you was up there dancing, rapping and stuff." And he said, "Man, I never saw nobody like him. I wanted him bad as hell because I knew he was gonna have like a long career." I said, "There's nobody that does stuff that this guy does." Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna sign with Bobcat in 1987.
Yeah, and he was cracking it. He was really popping at that
He
time.
was popping. He came down to a spot in Pomona called Rock Around the Clock. And back then, I was a cold break dancer, pop locker. You know what I mean? I could really do that damn thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And just as well as doing what I'm doing now, singing and rapping. And I caught the homie eye, and We were really gonna push towards it, but the universe had something different in plan because I had talked to Brother Bobcat. Shout out to Bobcat. I had talked to him, and he was like, he got familiar with who my peoples is because I told him my first record that I recorded was in 1986 with my Uncle Willie Hutch in Canoga Park at his
Mm-hmm.
studio, and I was gonna sign to him, but he was old school. He didn't want us to, talk about the street so much how we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then a year later, I did a couple shows and Bobcat attended to it, and he came up to me and he was like, "Man, you incredible, bro." I was like telling me all the good stuff he doing, which I was familiar with most of it. Him and LL, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Man, I need to get you over here. I need to get you over here." But I think it was at a time to when, he had to go back on the road with L,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he
and
was in New York at that time.
yeah, and things didn't transpire like they were supposed to. But yeah, the first person I was gonna sign to actually was Willie Hutch and then Bobcat
Yeah, that's crazy,
before
man.
Ruthless Records though.
Yeah, and how did y'all run across Eazy?
Well, I ran across Easy through my cousin and through Laylaw. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Which is a contributor member of NWA. And I did a 3-song demo in Pomona, California in '89. And then at the towards the end of '89, when Easy heard my stuff, he was like, "Man, that's signing." It didn't take long for me to get signed because of the uniqueness that he, fell in love with.
Yeah, so you signed Easy, and one thing I want to give Easy is props, man. I only got to meet Easy a couple times, but he was one of the most down to earth cats that I've ever met. That was on a level as he was. He was cool, man.
Oh man, cooler than AC, man.
He
And
was just cool. Like he was one type of dude. Here, take my number down. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And the thing is, you call over there, he answer the phone.
Yeah, all the time, man. It was no cookie cutter about Easy.
Hmm.
Eric Wright allowed us to, be creative. It wasn't a bunch of, you got to do this, do that. He gave us cats from Pomona, a chance of a lifetime. And
Yeah,
going to London in 1989, it was an experience for me because that was the first time I had a chance to go overseas. And he always made you feel like, man, you part of him. No matter, it was like the nigga made the money, but the money didn't make the nigga. You
hmm,
know what I'm saying?
yeah. He
And
was a very grounded cat.
he's very grounded. He always was in his Batman outfit, which was the Levi's, the T-shirt, the straight coat. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
one thing you always drew off Eric is that how big he was. He still had that benevolent spirit about himself, just cool, and that's what drew you into him because it didn't matter if you hop off the porch. It didn't
Hmm.
matter if you was on Section 8 at that time. He made you feel like you was in that mansion already.
Yeah, for real. One thing I want to clarify with you with him, man. Easy E played with a lot of the dark stuff, in his music and stuff like that, and it
Hmm.
led to a lot of speculation and everything. Could we clear that up a little bit? Easy E, did he play with the devil? Did he like playing with the dark stuff, or was that
I
just
mean,
a part
that
of
was
his
his
act?
thing. That was his thing at the time, but he believed in God.
Okay,
But he was a practical joker.
and that's what I figured. It was like it was
You
something
know,
just probably to just creep people out. You know what I mean?
yeah, he was definitely a practical joker, and he would joke with us. We would be like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But he would laugh, and he believed in God, man. Because when you believe in there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and when he had that type of love, just for his artists and his children, there is a God somewhere in the mix.
For sure.
So a lot of people can speculate, but nah, man, he was, I don't think he would have had those good intentions from
And
Satan.
that's what I'm saying. I think it was and that was important for me to clear that up because I think he did a lot of stuff because he was a marketing genius. He did stuff that
Yeah,
he knew would get people talking. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think to this day, man, I'm cool with his son. Shouts out to my man, Lil Easy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
shout out to
Easy,
nephew,
that's
the
my
whole
guy.
family.
And you know, and he got kids out there, man. And I think they still looking for closure because I think it's a lot of stuff that went on with that whole situation. We're not gonna go into on here at this time, but I
Hmm.
think it was a whole lot of stuff that people wanted him gone because at that time, you know, I think Ruthless Records at one time was grossing well over $1 million a month or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
mean,
was,
there was the tree to set everything up. Like when you think about, you can talk about the branches, but the
mhm,
branches don't come before the root.
for sure.
And because he decided to put up his hustle money, is the reason why Death Row was successful. It's the reason why 50 Cent was successful. The tree go all the way down to Kendrick Lamar. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Just as well as all the artists that was attached to Ruthless Records in the beginning. So, you know, East Coast put a lot of emphasis on Russell Simmons, but I think we need to use that same emphasis and put it on Eric Wright because he was our
Amen.
West Coast Russell
100%.
Simmons. You know what
100%.
I mean? Like a lot of people are at a time to when they're getting the $1 billion or getting close to the $1 billion. But a wooden nickel wouldn't even be brought about if Eric Wright decided to put up his hustle money. No NWA, no DOC, no Ice Cube, no movies, no Snoop, no Death Row, no real West Side Connection, no Above the Law, no Kokane, a lot of shit. So from a perspective of of E putting up his money is the reason why this makes sense. Love him or hate him, you
Hmm.
gotta respect what the man did. He was much more than driving down Sunset Boulevard, looking at a poster, jerking a tear.
Yeah, for
You
real.
know.
Because, and you know, that's one thing about that movie because, you know, it's amazing how stuff comes full circle. You was talking to Bobcat at the beginning of your career. Bobcat, once Dre left, a lot of people don't know, Easy had brought him over there to become kind of like the music, you know, the lead producer. You understand what I
Hmm.
mean? And he did a lot of work with Easy, man. And Easy, like you said, he was a joker. He was a funny dude, man. But I'm gonna tell you this: he was the dude that gave a lot of people chances. At one time, Ruthless had a roster of 50 people, and when I tell
Hmm.
you, some of them people didn't have a chance of coming out, but he gave them that opportunity.
Yeah, he was always given an opportunity. You could always talk about. A lot of people like to pick the pros and cons or whatever. But bottom line is, Eric was much more than a homie from the hood that put niggas on. You know what I mean? He gave a lot in secret. And a
Hmm.
lot of people that are giving now, they give on the surface, which, I understand, you have a brand and different other things. Some people be genuine, but a lot of people don't be genuine. They like to showcase what they done and look at me and look what I've done. But Eric used to, give to a lot of hospitals, a lot of different foundations that nobody didn't even know about.
Yeah, for real, man. And I've heard about some of that stuff, and the fact that he didn't put that out there for publicity stunts. There would be stuff that you hear, like I remember one of my partners was telling me that Easy would fill his bins up full of toys and go out there on Christmas Eve. And I'm not talking about cheap toys. I'm not talking about that he went to a Kmart or Walmart and bought some little $2, $3 toys. No, they were saying this dude would go out and buy really expensive, elaborate gifts for these kids and just go give them to them so everybody had a good Christmas. That was just the type of cat he was.
Yeah, everybody, man. It was Easy was awesome. Easy. And some of the stuff, when you that awesome, if you're a disciple or, so to speak, you kind of take on that energy because it's
Mhm.
totally positive. And I think some of the ways that in my mannerism when I deliberate business is because of Eric Wright.
Oh, for sure. You know, and I want to talk about something else that's incredible you got going on, man. So you and another unique individual have recently hooked up and y'all go way back, Mr. Sugar Free.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and Mr. Dewan Walker. Um, well, we finally got our dream off the bucket list, and that's to put together a group called Sugarcane. And we just dropped a single. It's out, available on all digital platforms. But yeah, that was like 21 years in the making. We were talking about doing that particular project, and you can have the right intentions, but it has to be the right season and moment.
Mm-hmm.
And after 21 years, it may took a long time, but we finally put a project together, an album called Power of the P, which is dropping in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And the single is out there, man. It's really doing something good. It's something special happening to the streets with this particular record called Sugarcane.
Sugarcane.
And
Yep.
people are putting back on their roller skates again. And you know what I mean? Just really fashion after that 70s and era, 80s
That's the
and
first
90s
thing I
era.
felt from it. I felt that. I felt that vibe from it when I first saw it. And for those that haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna give you a late pass. Make sure y'all go over to the music section right now, the videos, and press play on that video right now. Right now, it's
Yeah.
been people being real receptive to it. I think I just put it up on Friday, and we already got a couple thousand views on the site on it. So
Oh,
it's
that's
doing this.
dope.
It's doing this
Appreciate that.
thing. That's why I want to get you on here, man, and talk about that. So, do we have a release date for that in 2022?
Well, the single is out right now,
Hmm.
but the Power of the P, we might release it like late February or early March sometime. We got
I
to do a
know it's
couple
heated.
videos more.
And y'all got a video too with one of the Fat Boys on there.
Well, that's on my label, Budde Boy Entertainment. The Sugarcane is ran through a company called Rival Distribution. Shout out to Rival. Shout out to Ted.
Okay,
But that's a
got you.
Budde Boy thing. And I recently went out to New York to film a video with one of my all-time favorite groups. Besides
Mhm.
Houdini and Beastie Boys and Run DMC,
Man,
was
from
the
let
Fat
me cut you
Boys.
off real quick. From me and your era, dog, for y'all youngsters out there, the Fat Boys was all everything. You
Yeah,
look at them now because they was off the hook.
yeah, that was off the hook. And you got to realize with movies like Crush Groove, Disorderlies, the Freddy Krueger movie, they
Mhm.
actually put the blueprint down for years later. But when you see your Tupacs, or you see your MC8s, or you see
Your
your
Will Smiths.
Tyree, or your Will Smith, it was really Fat Boys to really let everybody know that, hey, this don't have to be in a section in the hood. This is a worldwide type of visuals and movement.
Mhm.
And it's like, because those gentlemen were able to make pivots in the movie industry, is the very same landscape that was laid down for your cubes and and people that common sense. The Fat Boys was one of the first ones to really do that on a level to where it's upper echelon. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And because
And they
those
made millions of
guys,
dollars.
yeah, yeah, because those gentlemen, they really helped further the advancement of hip hop. So to mention them not in the Hall of Fame and different other shit, it's basically an insult.
Oh yeah, it's very, man. You know what? They do a lot of stuff with that. Like me and Glass was talking the other day. Did you know that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think Dr. Dre is in there, as a group member with NWA. They had to put NWA in there, but for and we talk about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, whether people want to accept it back east or out west or wherever, it's no debating. He is the most popular rap artist of all time, the most
Yeah, he's
recognizable brand of all time.
yeah. Snoop is I would consider Snoop the Frank Sinatra of
Oh,
rap.
for sure, 100%. And you talk about just another good dude. I remember one time, man, we had a meeting with Snoop, and it was over some football stuff, right? Because Snoop is really into the football world. So
Right,
we're up in his office, man, his management and everything. And I was kind of hungry that day because it was a little spot across the street. I said, man, what do they have good food over there? He said, yeah, they sell wings and stuff. And so I'm up there talking, I'm gonna have to stop by there. It's like Snoop must have snapped his finger, man, and this girl walked in with a whole tray full of chicken wings and French fries and all kind of stuff. I said,
hmm
man, it's just like it just came from out of nowhere, like on some like he just made a wish and it appeared. But he's a good brother, man, and that's one thing that we trying to do over here at thisandbull.com, man. We really giving light to our heroes. You feel what I'm saying? And the good
right,
hip hop.
right,
And we don't differentiate between East and West and all that other silly stuff. We push good music. And
right,
that's definitely, what I heard when I first heard the single. I said that was one of the things that drew me to it was the musical aspect of it. Because it sounded like one of those records that your mom would used to play in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to go clean up the house when we actually had chores and all that stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
throwing on records and they just gave you a certain kind of energy, man, to push that broom and do what you need to
Mm-hmm.
do, man.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was gonna be one of them days, man. But man, I appreciate you. And one of the things I want to talk about that you're doing before we go to that I think is dope. You actually have your own system of distribution.
Right, right. I got my company's called Budde Boy Entertainment. I run it with my wife and my children, and we have digital as just as well as we have physical CDs. You know that are tangible. You know what I mean? So we had to work this over the years to figure out some things, and as long as you are searching for knowledge, it will find you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's been going on 14 years. We run our company successful, and we pride ourselves on one thing: growth. As long as you have growth, you're gonna get to the point where you want to get to. And the company's been doing good. And like I said, we're pushing that single. There's some singles that a lot of other stuff we're pushing out. But you got to go to my site at www.buddyboymusic.com. I know you'll share the link in your
Oh yeah,
thing,
for sure. Yeah,
thing,
we go share
fam.
this in the description.
And the Hush video is incredible because I went out to New York with my kids and my nephew because they the one who shot the video, directed the video.
That's
And
dope.
that's what I love is that I get a chance to see my children who I'm handing down the baton to first and foremost to be able to shine and put their things together and say, Pops, go here, Cool Rock, go here. And the video came out incredible. We got Brother Tretch that came through from Naughty by Nature. And
Mhm.
we really hit it out the ballpark because Jailhouse Rap by the Fat Boys in the 80s was one of my favorite Fat Boy songs. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
It was everybody's favorite song.
And for us to redo it over with a fresh beat, from the Chill, from Compton's Most Wanted and Rob T, it just fit more than the OJ glove. The single is out right now, but it's not, I reiterate, it's not available on iTunes, Apple, and all that stuff. You got to go to my site personally, and you can get it on digital at Buddy Boy Digital, or you can purchase the physical. Well, actually, my albums are physical, but this single is only on Buddy Boy Digital, and that's where you can get it. So if a lot of people ask you why it ain't on iTunes, well,
I'm
come
thinking
to the
that's
source.
one thing about it though, Coco. I think that's real important that you did that, and I preach that to artists is to don't depend on other platforms to push your music because the things that they are doing with the digital distribution of games they played, it's like you can't force a man to sell his product for 50 cents, dog.
Mm-mm.
And I always thought that tripped me out, man. And another thing that people don't understand is that all these record companies are actually partners in Spotify. They're actually in collusion with each other. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they done brokered, their spot because it's like when you're a big dog, you don't want the little chihuahuas to continue to come in and get big dog food. So that's how corporate is. They'll come in and try to swallow up, different other shit. But if you're smart and you play your cards right and you acquire the knowledge, wisdom is gonna tell you, well, fuck off. I don't need that. I don't need no middleman. So that's what we've been doing over the years is winging out the middleman.
For sure, man. And we look forward to, man. I know you're on your way to the studio now, and I appreciate you checking in with us, man. Y'all make sure, man, y'all go over to buddyboy.com so y'all can go ahead and get the whole catalog. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do
Yeah.
that and support the brother, man, out here doing this incredible music. Don't go to iTunes, don't go to Spotify, none of them places. Buddyboy.com is your destination.
Yep. Buddyboymusic.com. The link is also,
Buddyboymusic.com.
yeah, the link is in my bio at KOKANE underscore brand. That's at cocaine underscore brand. It's super simple. We have the collection, classic cocaine collection, just as well as the new singles that are out. We're also preparing for my daughter, Young Colombiana, to come out with her first single and her first album after really cultivating her over the years. She's ready to put out her album, self-entitled called Young Colombiana, and she basically doing the two-step that Pops is doing from bussing to singing. And
That's dope.
it's a family orientated business. I also have a nephew out in Ohio. His name is Justin Blue Moon. Y'all be hearing more about. And we still got my partner from O-Side, Baby Loco, who's also playing in the television roles and different things. He's
Hmm.
real hard on the Jamaican spitting. And we just we're just putting paint where it ain't, man. And happy to, be a blessing to other people out there. And I appreciate you still, your brotherhood, your friendship over the years. You always kept it 1,000 out of 100. You know what I'm saying? And
For
blessings to
sure,
you
for
and your
sure.
family.
Appreciate it.
Awesome family. Your son doing good in the sports. And that's what it's about, man. We really are on some brotherhood stuff, and it's not a publicity stunt. It's like it's genuine, and you keep growing yourself, brother, and may God continue to have favor on your journey.
Man, you as well, my brother, and I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I got to get to this lab, man.
For sure. We appreciate y'all, and we out of here.